the golden age of Hollywood, an era we remember for its glamour, innovation, and unforgettable stars. But beneath the glittering surface was a darker truth, a battle for artistic freedom that almost destroyed the dream factory itself. Censors, politicians, studios, and moral crusaders all had one goal: to control what audiences could see and think. And in their crusade, they banned, or nearly buried, some of the most daring films ever made. Today, we uncover 25 banned films that didn't just challenge authority, they defied it. Some ended careers, others changed cinema forever. But all of them reveal the hidden war that shaped Hollywood's soul. That if this kind of story touches your heart, if you're someone who cares about truth, responsibility, and speaking up for the voiceless, please like this video, subscribe to our channel, and share it with someone who should hear it. Let's get started. 1. The Miracle, 1948. It began with a court case that would change film history. The Miracle, directed by Roberto Rossellini and starring Anna Magnani, was a short film about a simple woman who believes she's given birth to the Christ child. Religious leaders called it blasphemous. Cities across America banned it, but its distributor, Joseph Burstyn, fought back, all the way to the U.S. Supreme Court. In 1952, the court ruled that movies were a form of artistic expression protected under the First Amendment. The Miracle decision ended decades of legal censorship, proving that cinema was not just entertainment, but speech. Ironically, it took a banned film to make that freedom possible. 2. Freaks, 1932. Before horror had a code, Freaks shattered every boundary. Director Todd Browning cast real sideshow performers to tell a story about cruelty, love, and revenge under the big top. Audiences fainted. MGM pulled it from theaters. Britain banned it for over 30 years. Browning, once the director of Dracula, saw his career destroyed overnight. But time was kind to Freaks. Once reviled, it's now hailed as a masterpiece, not of horror, but of empathy. Its chilling final line, one of us," still echoes as Hollywood's warning against those who fear what they don't understand. 3. Babyface, 1933. Before the Hays Code tightened its grip, Barbara Stanwyck's Babyface scandalized audiences with its unapologetic portrayal of a woman sleeping her way to the top. Moralists called it indecent. Studio heads panicked. Warner Brothers was forced to re-edit the film, adding a moral ending where vice was punished. Even censored, Babyface exposed the double standards of a society obsessed with female virtue but built on male corruption, a boldness rarely matched since. 4. The Outlaw, 1943. Howard Hughes knew how to make headlines. With Jane Russell's now infamous bra and a poster campaign that turned cleavage into controversy, The Outlaw was condemned before it was even released. The production code banned it for indecency. Hughes sued, stoked the scandal, and eventually won the right to screen it. Critics called it smut. Audiences called it unforgettable. Hughes had proven a perverse truth: nothing sells like censorship. 5. The Moon is Blue, 1953. A romantic comedy banned for using the words virgin, mistress, and seduce. Otto Preminger's The Moon is Blue challenged the censors by refusing to cut a single word. The Catholic Legion of Decency denounced it, and the Hays office withheld approval. Preminger released it anyway, and it became a box office hit. Its success signaled the beginning of the end for Hollywood's self-censorship system. The word virgin might sound tame now, but in 1953, it was a revolution. 6. Salt of the Earth, 1954. Few films were banned as brutally as this one made by blacklisted filmmakers. Salt of the Earth told the true story of a miners' strike led by Mexican-American workers and their wives. It was labeled communist propaganda. Theaters refused to show it. Federal agents intimidated anyone connected to it. The leading actress was deported. But decades later, critics recognized its courage, a film that gave voice to laborers, women, and minorities long before Hollywood dared to. 7. The Birth of a Nation, 1915. D.W. Griffith's The Birth of a Nation was both a cinematic revolution and a moral catastrophe. It invented modern film grammar and glorified the Ku Klux Klan. Cities erupted in protest. Some banned it outright. Others defended it as art. It remains one of the most dangerous films ever made, proof that cinema's power can be used to inspire both beauty and hate. Without it, film might not have evolved so quickly. But with it, America paid a terrible price in propaganda. 8. Scarface, 1932. Before Al Pacino, there was Paul Muni in a gangster saga so violent it terrified the censors. Howard Hawks' Scarface was condemned for glorifying crime. The government demanded changes, and the studio added a moral disclaimer. Still, it was banned in several states. Years later, Hawks' defiance inspired generations of filmmakers. Scarface was not just a movie, it was a declaration that realism had arrived in American cinema. 9. Ecstasy, 1933. Hedy Lamarr was barely 20 when she appeared nude in the Czechoslovakian film Ecstasy that caused an international uproar. Pope Pius XI personally condemned it. The film was banned across the United States. Lamarr fled to Hollywood, reinventing herself as a glamorous actress, and secretly as an inventor who pioneered radio frequency technology used in Wi-Fi and GPS. From banned actress to unsung genius, her life became the ultimate Hollywood irony. 10. The Story of Temple Drake, 1933. Based on William Faulkner's Sanctuary, this tale of abduction and assault shocked audiences. Critics accused it of exploiting violence. Religious groups demanded its removal. The backlash was so intense it directly led to stricter enforcement of the production code. For a decade afterward, Hollywood avoided sexual trauma altogether. Proof that one film's daring could trigger an era of silence. 11. Rope of Sand, 1949. Set in a South African diamond mine, this noir thriller touched the raw nerve of colonial greed and apartheid. Authorities pressured Paramount to withdraw it. It vanished quickly after release. Rope of Sand's disappearance showed how international politics could silence even mainstream Hollywood. The diamonds sparkled, but behind them, a truth too dangerous to show. 12. Strange Victory, 1948. Made right after World War II, Strange Victory asked a question few dared. If America fought fascism abroad, why did racism still rule at home? The film's message was too uncomfortable. It was denounced as unpatriotic, accused of communist sympathies, and quietly buried. Its director, Leo Hurwitz, was blacklisted. Yet today, Strange Victory stands as one of the earliest civil rights documentaries decades before the movement took hold. 13. Citizen Kane, 1941. When Orson Welles released Citizen Kane, William Randolph Hearst recognized the obvious: the movie was about him. Hearst banned any mention of it in his newspapers and threatened theater owners. Some pulled it immediately. Kane flopped on release, but later rose to the top of greatest film ever made lists. The mogul who tried to silence it only made its legend louder. 14. Mission to Moscow, 1943. During the war, Hollywood cooperated with Washington's propaganda needs. Mission to Moscow was produced at the White House's request to portray the Soviet Union as an ally. But when the Cold War began, the film was suddenly labeled treasonous. Its director was called before the House Un-American Activities Committee. A film once endorsed by the U.S. government became the very evidence used against its creators, an irony only Hollywood could write. 15. The North Star, 1943. Another patriotic wartime drama turned pariah. Written by Lillian Hellman, The North Star glorified Soviet resistance to the Nazis. After 1945, that same message was seen as communist propaganda. The FBI investigated its cast and crew. The film disappeared for decades, resurfacing only when the Cold War thawed. It showed that political winds could change faster than film reels could spin. 16. The Well of Loneliness, unmade, 1930s. Not every banned film was ever shot. The Well of Loneliness, a proposed adaptation of Radcliffe Hall's lesbian novel, was stopped before production began. The Legion of Decency warned studios not to touch it. No major producer dared defy them. Hollywood's silence lasted decades, until the 1960s, when queer stories finally began to surface. Sometimes, the most revealing censorship is what never gets made. 17 Island of Lost Souls, 1932. Charles Laughton's mad scientist on a tropical island created monsters, and Outrage. Based on H.G. Wells's The Island of Dr. Moreau, the film's grotesque imagery and hints of bestiality horrified censors. Banned in the UK for over 20 years, it became a cult classic of forbidden horror. Its chilling line, "Are we not men?" still resonates, a question not just for monsters, but for those who decide what humanity is allowed to see. 18. The Blackboard Jungle 1955. Juvenile delinquency met rock and roll, and moral panic exploded. The Blackboard Jungle introduced Bill Haley's Rock Around the Clock, the first rock song in a Hollywood film. Teenagers danced in the aisles. Adults saw chaos. Some theaters banned it after riots broke out, but it captured the generational divide better than any news report. Hollywood had discovered youth rebellion and couldn't control it anymore. 19. Baby Doll 1956. Tennessee Williams's sultry drama of lust and manipulation provoked the Catholic Church into fury. Condemned for moral rot, Baby Doll was banned in several U.S. cities and across entire countries. The publicity nearly crushed Elia Kazan's career, and yet the controversy only made audiences more curious. Few films since have walked that same line between art and indecency so daringly. 20. The Man with the Golden Arm 1955. Frank Sinatra as a heroin addict in 1955. That was unthinkable. The Hays office refused to certify it, but Otto Preminger again defied them. The film released unrated, and critics praised it for its honesty. It broke the silence on drug addiction and proved that realism could sell. Once banned, now celebrated, it marked the beginning of modern Hollywood's willingness to confront taboo subjects head-on. 21. Blackboard Jungle 1955. Merged to fix duplication? Or separate, skip duplicate later, ensure unique listing? 22. Rebel Without a Cause 1955. James Dean became a legend of youth defiance, but some cities banned Rebel without a cause for fear it would incite juvenile violence. They were right in a way. It gave a generation its voice. Hollywood, terrified of rebellion, had accidentally made its patron saint. 23. The Pawnbroker 1964. Before the production code's collapse, The Pawnbroker broke the final taboo, nudity in a serious drama. Censors tried to block it. The director appealed and won. The decision marked the beginning of the end for the Hays Code. The world had changed. Hollywood would have to follow. 24. Bonnie and Clyde, 1967. By the late 60s, censorship was dying, but the shock still lingered. Bonnie and Clyde's graphic violence horrified older critics, yet thrilled younger audiences. It was banned in several countries, but became a symbol of the new Hollywood. The era of rebellion was complete, born from decades of suppression. 25. Last Tango in Paris, 1972. The final scandal of the old order. Bernardo Bertolucci's erotic drama was banned in multiple countries, seized by police, and condemned by the Vatican. Its raw sexuality signaled the end of Hollywood's innocence and the cost of liberation. The old censors were gone, but the question remained: how far should art go?